Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, live on WBON TV Channel 9 and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair, the law office of Patrick O'Neill, Nuevo Vallarta, the Richmond Raceway, and Affordable Service Solutions. Now let's go live to your hosts, Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, and Dawson Rule.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. It seems like it's been a while since we've been here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. And
you've missed me.
We have missed you. You've been, I think you've been to the Bahamas, the Peru, DC. Yeah, you've been everywhere.
I have been there.
Yeah. And you were at the Suits for Seniors event Friday night. Samantha Burford, Dawson Rule, Michael Watkins here with you. And we're going to start things off today with some EKU football. And it's been a busy weekend for Coach Walt Wells. A really busy couple of months here as you guys have kind of prepared for Suits for Seniors, a great event that you had over the weekend, and also the spring game that you held on Saturday. But first, let's talk about the event, how things went Friday with the reverse job fair, and then with Suits for Seniors that night, which was, by the way, another awesome night, jam-packed EKU fans, and it seemed like to be a really, really good environment there on Friday night.
Well, I mean, a lot of people put in a lot of great work for that to happen, and so thank you to everybody that was on our committee and everybody that was a sponsor and donated their time and their products and their energy and their money and everything involved. So it was a great event. The job fair starts it off at noon that day. I walked in there about 12:30ish. I had a meeting until then, and walked in there and to see probably 40 guys at tables with around 30 to 35 potential employers coming up and talking to them. It's pretty surreal to watch. And then to watch, you watch 3/4 of your guys really interacting well, and then you get the 1/4 that are shy and sheepish a little bit, and you just try to encourage them, like, hey man, this is an opportunity for you to make something happen for you later on in life. Everybody wants to go pro. I get it, but it may be 10 years from now. You may play 10 years and then come back, and somebody here may affect you in some way that you can come back and start the rest of your career, your second career. So that was a lot of fun seeing that, and then getting to the new venue at Chenault Vineyards, and you guys coming out, and thank y'all for being out, both of you guys, and doing a great job. Of course, Samantha was there as a guest, and you guys were there working, and
she did not get thrown out. So we're
and she did not get thrown out. Nobody did that I know of. I try to stay away from that. But, we had a sellout crowd.
Yeah.
The winery is such a beautiful place. I mean, and then when the sun came out and the wind died down, and it just made it such a really good evening. A lot of people were generous with their, with the silent auction and the live auction. Reverse raffle went well. And then, everything else went well with that night. So it was a good night, wrapped up about 10:30ish, 11ish, and then got ready for the spring game the next day.
And 2 people won the raffle. They split it, right?
That's right. Right.
One wasn't there, but they called.
That's right. And I'm not going to say anything because people think I rigged it, but I didn't. and then Curtis DeGrant ran it. Was the other one, and they split it, and they donated. So they win $10,000, so 5 apiece, and both of them donated $1,000 each to the Matter of Pride Club.
Oh wow, okay.
So that was nice. So they both went home with $4,000 apiece, and so it's a good deal. And then we had the Coach Kid bottles of makers that everybody. Those things went pretty hot. We had a lot of cases of them, and of course, if you bought a table, you got one placed at your table. But then we had some that were autographed by the master distiller that went really well. We had some bottles of Woodford that were the artist that did the painting for the 150th Derby bottle is an EKU former student.
Oh, wow.
And so he signed them for us, and so we sold those, and those were nice. And then, the list goes on of what other things. Maroon Fund was there, which is our NIL collective, and made some money, and I think everything went well.
Well, Dawson was there Saturday for the spring game, and Dawson, you talked about some different guys getting some PT. Obviously, coach, it's a good chance for you to kind of look at some different guys and just maybe just get some different looks for a quarterback, wide receiver, maybe some of the running backs, and then you talked about some of the O-line guys you got to see a lot of as well.
Well, I think the first thing when you think about the spring game, and Dawson, you were there, Samantha, you were there, you were being daddy duty, so you were where you needed to be. But we had a great crowd. I mean, we were just talking 4,000 or 5,000 people were there, and I think you can look around the country and that rivals.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking SEC type. I mean, I know Vanderbilt didn't have that many there,
Right.
and I don't know if Kentucky did, to be quite honest with you. And so we had the youth leagues come out and play at halftime. We honored Coach Eisen at halftime, and his family was there, so that was a special moment. And then gave our awards out to our trainer, our manager, and then our Roy Kidd Award that went to Parker McKinney. So that was a great day, and I thank our staff that did all that, and our athletic staff that put all the marketing together and all the things together to get people out, because it's important. I mean, it sends our kids off. I mean, they play in that game, see all those people. They're going into finals, dead week and then finals, and then, they're going into summer, and it's going to get quiet for about 6 weeks, and then it's going to start picking back up. And that's the last memory they have is like, hang on a second, that many people came. I was talking AW sent me a text afterwards and talking about how great it was because he had a recruit here, and it was vital for his recruit to be like, holy cow, this is a spring game. You got this many people here.
Yeah.
So those things matter, and they matter a lot. And so I really appreciate everybody in town that came out and the word that got out about it. When we got to the game, it was we divided them up, first and second. First offense, second defense were together, and first defense and second offense were together. And then we split the rest of the team on, basically how we could finish the game without trying to cross over too much, because we have some injuries and we have a lot of guys that, nothing too substantial. Like we had to fly an offensive lineman to Philly today to he went to get his MRI and see a specialist, and he's 5 a.m. in the morning, he's checking in, and he's having the surgery. So now he'll miss 6 to 8 weeks, and it'll be okay. But, we've got to get those things done like that. And so you've got to shelf them now because you got to get them ready to go. And if you wait and wait and wait, next thing you know, they're missing training camp, and they're not getting what you need. So we only have one serious injury that we had in spring ball that hurt us. So I'm excited about our defense and how they played all spring. I think they've really stepped up. I think you see a huge difference in what's going on that side of the ball with our defensive line is intact and senior-lated.
Yeah.
We got 4 seniors. We got 2 or 3, redshirt juniors. And so, we've got some good experience there. I like our linebackers. I like where we're at. We're going to look and see if we can recruit another one and maybe add from the portal on that. And then in our outside linebackers, where a guy that started last year was Frank Lee. He didn't play all spring. He had 3 surgeries after the season. So,
wow.
But he'll be ready to go here in probably about 4 or 5 weeks. He'll be ready to go. So by the time we come back in June, he's ready. And then our defensive backfield was really new except for Mike Smith, and Mike's done a great job. Mike's been here 2 years now, started last season.
We talked to him last year.
Yeah, Mike's ran well. He's got a chance to do what Josiah did and some of the other guys here this past weekend. So we'll see where he's at and how he plays. I mean, it's a big year for him. He's got to play well. And then offensively, we were beat up front. So I think we had 2 offensive linemen that are projected starters that played.
Okay.
And then we had 2 backups that were projected starters play. So we had a lot of guys out, and so which creates a mess, when it comes offensively trying to do some things.
Well, because offense is a lot about timing and scheduling and things like that. So if you're off
picking
on a
up
snap,
blitz, I mean it's left and right, and then you're getting ready to throw, and a guy's here, and you got to move, and then the receivers, they're a little prima donna-ish, and they get a little bothered that the ball's not coming out when it should, and things like that. Well, it's not always the quarterback's fault.
Yeah.
And so, and then everybody gets frustrated, and so, you could see some guys doing good things, but the problem is when we get all 11 back out there together, I think we'll be okay offensively. Now, we'll still have to figure out who our quarterback's going to be. Cam Herget and Matt Morrissey both went with both teams. Yeah. So we could see them behind the one line, behind the two, technically the one line, technically the two line, and see how they operate. And they both did some good things. And so that'll be a competition I can see going all the way through training camp, probably up until the first week.
Oh.
So obviously this is all big on Saturday, but another big thing for the program happened where Josiah was drafted. Do you know the timeline of when that happened? Was he at the game on?
No, he was
wasn't?
not.
Okay.
He was at home. He was at home.
I saw the video
We watched
too.
it live.
I didn't know.
Actually, we were.
We got
there
a tip.
and watched
We
it.
were sitting there in an RV that was there. We have 4 or 5 RVs at the game, and we were sitting there eating some pizza and just chatting. And Samantha and John were there, my wife and some others. And I got a tip that Saints said,
Right.
you should be excited real soon. We look up, and the Saints are fixing to go, and sure enough, everybody's seen the video that's paid attention. It's gone viral now.
Yeah.
He's one of the top beloved rookies that got drafted right now. But he went nuts, and we went nuts on that.
Yeah,
we
were
went
jumping
nuts.
up and
Everybody
down.
went up. We
and
had
then they FaceTimed him.
Then we FaceTimed with him, and Eric Losey, our offensive line coach, got him on the phone, and of course you couldn't hear nothing, and he couldn't hear nothing. But his father called me later that night and was very, very great, grateful and generous and with his comments. And then the next day I got, Josiah called me, and we got a chance to sit down and talk for a little bit. And that's a huge moment for him. Josiah came here under the previous staff as a true freshman, nose guard, humongous talent, or a body, I should say, and was just not a defensive line man at all. And through the process, when we get in and he's COVID and he plays nose guard for us, he don't like wearing a mask at all, and that didn't go over well on campus with him, and so I had the opportunity, because of some trouble he got into. Nothing, I've told all the scouts this, so nothing bad at all. But, it was a COVID time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't wear your mask here, you're in trouble. And he's 6'7", 300 pounds.
You're going to notice it.
They're going to notice that it's not, up. And so me, his father, his mother sat down and talked, and we said, basically just said, hey, man, you're going to move to offense. And, he was against it. He was a defensive lineman is what he thought. And I said, you're either going to go to the NFL or you're going to, I said some choice words out of here. And I said, and that's no disrespect to you, but you're an offensive lineman, and I think if you take the right path, you'll play in the NFL. And sure enough, he got with Coach Losey and just worked every day and kept working. And, we sent him down to, he had an NIL opportunity to go down to Atlanta last year with Peyton Collins and work with Willie Anderson, the former Bengal, who's probably going to be a Hall of Famer one day. And, he texted me back, kind of what I thought. We were on the same page. And I think that opened his eyes up like, hey, man, I can do this. I can be an NFL player. I can change, my life. And so it worked out. It's worked out well for him so far. So we're excited about him, as we are. Logan Blake getting a mini camp opportunity.
We're not getting chances to. He's just telling us.
I'm sorry.
He's reading our
I
minds.
got my notes, and it's exciting.
Well, on Logan, I saw that the Packers and Saints both invited. So what does that mean exactly?
So they're mini camp tryouts. So what they do is they bring in people to work with the rookies. Okay. And so, you don't want to bring your vets in to work with them that early and teach them, you don't want to get a vet hurt. You don't want to, So they bring any futures guy they had, any guy they just signed to these mini, and then all their undrafted free agents and their draft picks, they bring them in. And they have, 2 or 3 day mini camp. So it's really a tryout for like Logan. It's a 3-day tryout. I would assume after the pro day, and knowing the scout that probably stood on the table for him, that Logan is going to work at linebacker, but probably work at fullback some.
Okay. Yeah.
And then special teams. And so that helps him out. So hopefully at the end of those 3 days, he signs a contract and doesn't even go to the Saints. But if he doesn't sign a contract at the end of those 3 days, they've got all kinds of video numbers and all that on him. Then he goes to the Saints and does the exact same thing.
Okay.
So he'll be down there with Josiah.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
he'll do
won't
the
that be
exact
cool?
same thing. And, and they'll go through all that stuff, and they'll do all that, and we'll see where it goes. And hopefully, I'd say he'll do the same thing there. He'll work at linebacker, but he'll also work at fullback.
What about Parker? Now, I know Parker. I actually searched Parker on X or Twitter, and there were a ton of scouts calling Parker the sleeper of the draft as far as the quarterback position goes. Saw a lot of people talking about him. What's the latest that you're hearing about what Parker, what can be next for him?
Well, and I think y'all know how I feel about Parker, and I think a lot of people are missing the boat.
Yeah.
I wish they listen to coaches a little more sometimes. Parker he thought he had a undrafted free agent contract with the Bears, had it for about 4 hours, but never had it. Okay. And what ended up happening is, from my understanding, the Bears decided to go with another quarterback, and Parker had, already committed to them because that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
And then it happened like that. So, and then now you're playing catch up because you've told everybody else you're going to the Bears, and you may have missed out on some things. So, as of last night, I don't think he had anything yet. I haven't talked to him today, or I hadn't heard from his agent. So, it's like I told him, things happen for a reason. This thing is crazy.
Yeah.
1 minute you think nobody wants you, then the next minute, here you go. And so you got to keep preparing yourself. You got to be ready to go. And somebody will get hurt, get cut, not understand the system, whatever. I think Parker is an NFL player. I think he should be in somebody's camp, and I'll continue to work the phones and try to help him. But it's the NFL, and it's just it's
a business.
It's a billionaire business. There's 32 billionaires that are running those teams, and they really don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
And so unfortunate way to learn it, and and an unfortunate lesson for a lot of our players that this is how that goes, and it is a straight running business.
Samantha, you talked about the energy and how it was there Saturday. So you had a question kind of pertaining to that for Coach.
Right. I just want to know, how are you guys going to keep – it was such an exciting, eventful weekend. And even watching the players come off the field, obviously they were tired, not in exact football shape like they are in September and October. But how are you going to keep this momentum going all throughout the summer? What can we expect
Well,
into fall?
I think the big thing for us is the crowd, the energy from that, the show of care, the show of interest, the show of all those things. I think that provides that spark for our team. Now, I think, we've got young men in our program that have been here and seen it not like that. We've got and at other places that never seen that, and then we've got guys that are like, this is how it's supposed to be because I just got here.
Maybe even like Logan Blake. 'Cause
Right.
this will be his coming in second year, right?
Right. Well,
No, he's gone.
He's
Yeah.
gone.
Oh, so he did graduate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Logan's gone, but they'll figure all that out. But that just provides an energy and a spark. Like, hey, when we come in the third game of the year to play, I think it's West Georgia is our first home game. They're going to expect triple that. What you would expect in a fall for that. And so it's like I tell them, well, then, when we go to Mississippi State, we go to Western Kentucky, we got to give those people reason to be here.
To come back.
As long as we continue to give a good product, and I think that speaks volumes, even though our record was not great last year, at 5-6, I think every home game they came to, you were there to the end.
Yeah.
Because it was a go to the end game, and whether we won or lost. And so, I think that being said, people are embracing what we do. I think we're out in the community, and they like that. So we've got to continue to do those things. We got to be out in the community. We're going to, hopefully, partner with y'all again and be here for all the weekly visits that they come and talk to you guys.
We hope so.
And we get to, y'all get to know them, and then everybody that watches the show gets to know them.
Yeah.
And that stuff matters because those guys love doing that.
Yeah, and Dawson, we talked. We talked about it last year. Why would you ever leave a game early? There were so many times where it would seem like either you would have a lead and the other team would come back, or vice versa. You guys would be down and come back and make a game of it. But I think a lot of that too is you all have worked really hard, and I think a lot of the credit goes to you, but also the folks that are kind of behind the scenes and creating an atmosphere there that is entertaining, because nowadays it's not just about the product on the field, it's about the food you serve and the drinks you're able to serve and all the lights show and the music that's played and everything. It's an actual event when you host a game at RKS.
Well, I think people want to have fun.
Yeah.
And people want to enjoy what they're doing. And if we think it's like it was back in the 80s or 70s, where there's not 35 opportunities to watch something else on TV and sit at home and it doesn't cost you as much and, all those things, okay, then we're not very smart people. I mean, you got to change with the times a little bit and you got to make it entertainment. The game's the game. We hope everybody wants to be involved in the game and cheer in the game and do all those things in the games. But I also know if you got 4 kids or 3 kids as you do and they're all under a certain age, I mean, they're going to go crazy. I can just remember talking to my wife, and she's a coach's wife. When my kids were growing up, they were just off in the stands doing whatever. I mean, whether it was Tennessee, Kentucky, Western, or South Florida, I mean, they were just running nuts. And they knew to come back every
so often
quarter,
check in.
basically, and check in. And, maybe they wanted some money for something to eat or something. But, I think those things are important. I think we have to be different than the option up the road because, that's a quality product too.
Yeah.
And so, but there's enough people in these 2 counties to go to both games and enjoy both games and support both teams. And
we do, don't we?
That doesn't bother me. I mean, if Kentucky fans come to our games and cheer us on, hey, I'm happy for it. If Eastern fans go to Kentucky and cheer them on, I wish they would come to our games, but I'm not going to get mad at you. It's your dime, it's your money, you do what you got to do, but we've got to provide the opportunity that people don't want to do that. They want to stay here and do it, and I agree with you. I think our support staff, athletic staff, has cranked it up the last 3 years and done a great job of providing things for people to do.
Yeah. And
that's what's important. We've got to understand that not everybody wants to come sit on their hand and watch the game and clap every now and then, eat one bag of popcorn and go home. They want to do what they want to do, and we can make it all happen so everybody has an enjoyable experience.
A couple more questions. Got one?
What do you think going into the off season, as you call it now, dead week and finals week? What are you going to have the team doing once they come back? You said it's going to be like a mellow practice until summer boots up.
Well, we won't practice again until training camp, really. I mean, now the last 3 weeks before training camp, we'll do some OTA type work, but there's limitations on ball and how many people can you break the huddle with 11, blah 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 blah. So when they need some time, in my opinion, they need some time to get away and go just be a 18 to 22 3-year-old kid. And some of them can't do it.
No.
And some of them can do it too much. and so that's okay, though. We want them to, we want dead week to go well, obviously finish finals, everybody, come back eligible, everybody good to go. We got a lot of guys graduating, so we'll have a graduation dinner on the 9th. We'll go up and treat them to a real nice dinner. We'll also take our special teams groups award winners from the spring to go, and so we'll do all that. And then we won't, school starts the 20th. The May session starts the 20th, so we'll try to have every incoming freshman. We won't have them all, probably all but about 3. Every incoming freshman and every returnee will be back and in a class. They have to take one class unless they've got there's a formula, and there's probably 10 of them that may meet that formula that doesn't have to. But and then the next week, the Tuesday after Memorial Day, we start our 8-week cycle of summer, and we give them the week off of July 4th. And other than that, so they'll be working out 4 days a week. They'll be going to study table. They'll be going to class. We'll be doing 7-on-7. With them. We won't be with them, but they'll be doing 7-on-7 one-on-ones. They'll have some classroom work to do for us, and then our coaches will take a vacation. They'll get some, they'll do it in player-led practices, what we call it, PLPs, and they'll do those on their own. And it's a lot of that's what I keep trying to tell everybody. These kids never get a break.
Yeah.
They don't. And if you don't, everybody says, well, then don't do it.
Full time, isn't it?
Well, then if you don't do it, then our pass game will look like it did Saturday.
Yeah.
That's not what we want, and we got to develop. We got to move forward. And, Mississippi State don't care what our problems are. And so we've got to be ready to go. I mean, every year I've been here, we played Division I schools the first 2 games. That's what we're doing this year. I'm fine with that, but we got to be ready to go. And we're a Division I school too. We're FCS, but they're FBS. And we're going down to Mississippi State in August. It's into August, 1st September. It's gonna be hot.
It is going to
be hot. It's gonna be, they're a tempo team. They're gonna be trying to wear us down. And so we've got to have all the answers to all that and have those guys trained and ready to go. And not to mention that, it's the first game of a new regime.
Yeah.
So it's going to be packed. It's going to be loud. It's going to be communication problems.
Kind of like how it was with Cincy last year, right? That first game. Yeah.
It's exactly right. So, and then the next week we go to Western, which is a huge rival. Not as much for them anymore, but for us it is.
For sure.
But there'll still be enough people down there that still hate us that place will be crowded. And we'll see why they should. That should be a home and home.
Agreed.
Everybody's going to see that down there because there's going to be, the age limit may be high as we go into the stadium, but there's going to be people down there and they don't like us.
Yeah.
And there's people here I know, because I've been on both sides. They don't like the Hilltoppers. And so it's going to be a great atmosphere for our kids the first 2 weeks, and then we get into our FCS schedule. So I'm excited about this summer. I'm looking forward to some downtime myself. We got till midnight tomorrow night with the portal. So, as coaches, we're worried about that.
Still working.
Yeah, we're still recruiting our own team, and making sure that everybody's good. And, anybody that graduates, tomorrow night doesn't matter because they can go in the portal anytime they want to. Anybody that doesn't graduate tomorrow night at midnight's the last time they can go in, or at 11:59. And so, those are things that you can't control, but you're human. You worry about them. And then you're also looking at all the ones that are going in the portal. Like, all right, where are they going? How are you going to take advantage of that? How can that work in your scholarship amount? And the list goes on. And then how does that affect your team as you bring? You're careful who you want to bring into your team because you don't want anybody to infect it in a bad way.
True.
We got time
were
for one more question.
disappointed
You got
in
it?
Sloan going to the portal last week. I was like, are you kidding me? No.
Well, I think it's just the nature of the beast, though, Coach, right? I mean, it's just.
We liked him on the show. We always had a good time with Sloan. And of
he's
course,
a fine
we loved
young
him on
man.
the field.
He's a fine young man, and he comes from great stock back home in Wayne County. He has 1 semester left. He felt like for him, he needed to move on. I didn't like it either. Not that I don't like him. Not that I don't like. I just, felt like we could give him everything he needed. But he felt like he needed some other things. And you know what? That's his prerogative. That's his right. He did it. And we'll wish him well and hope everything goes great for him. And, like I said, great family, great people. And that's just how it goes.
Well, Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you over. Hopefully, we'll have you back over here again soon. We'll let you rest up, get back to work in the portal. I mean, maybe in a few weeks, check back with us again. Let us know how things are going.
That sounds good.
We need to tell everybody. Right now is your time to get your season tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Get your tickets now for
Call
the
Raymond.
fall.
Call Raymond.
Yes, we have got to fill that stadium up for this fall.
And
There's
it's just
so many good games.
There's always something new, I feel like, that's added every year. So you never know what's going to happen out there. You got a really good product on the field and in the stands as well. It's a lot of fun to come check out an EKU game, and you got a really good home schedule again this year.
Well, I hope the Hill is as active as it was Saturday because that's what's fun as a coach, and our players love to look down there and see a bunch of kids, playing football, playing tag, playing whatever, having a ball, and I would assume something new will come around because, we'll have new leadership and I'm sure whoever that person is will probably want to put their spin on it somehow. And as long as it's not too crazy, I'll be okay with it. and I try not to micromanage too much. I just try to provide ideas of what's gone on in the past and what I've seen at other places.
All right.
Well, you said that new things happening.
Yeah.
And I said that I was thinking there's going to be a new AD.
Yeah.
So that's going to be new.
Yeah, I mean, Grant's gone too. There's a lot of changeover, but I think it's an exciting time because you see these people, moving on in their careers, and these young guys taking that next step in their journey.
I think anytime there's change, I mean, we had change on our staff. We had guys took positions at other places that they felt like were right for them, and I think, I think we all think, sometimes people are irreplaceable, and it's like I tell the story all the time. When I went down with my deal, the show went on, and it will always go on. EKU and EKU football was here well before me, and it'll be here well after me, and so I'm just the caregiver. I'm just the one here trying to raise the expectations and meet the expectations.
We're doing that.
And so, the same thing with other people. I mean, other people get opportunities. Matt got an opportunity to go to a place when he was growing up. He didn't know what EKU was, but he knew what JMU was, and that was a place he wanted to be. Grant, his dad used to be the coach there at Kentucky State in basketball, so he grew up on that campus before, and just because you leave doesn't mean you can't come back unless you do something wrong on the way out the door, right?
That's true.
Never burn bridges.
That's
that was
exactly
a lesson
right.
from my mom early on.
I burned one bridge in this career, and my dad told me, or my mom told me, he said, if you burn a bridge, it'll come back and bite you. And I said, well, Mom, I also know this. If you burn a bridge, you better burn it up because, do it right if you're going to do it, And so you learn the younger you are that, not everything's the way it should be. Not everything's the way you dream it to be. But, it's your job to make it the best it can be.
That's Walt Wells, head football coach at EKU after a terrific weekend with Suits for Seniors, the spring game, and Coach is still going to be very, very busy as they work throughout the summer.
Custom fit suit. We didn't even talk about that, but that's a big deal.
Would you buy
too,
me one of those, by the way?
You go to Cuff to Carler,
And you
try
put it under your account.
and we'll put it under your name and account.
Okay,
I need a suit.
I'll go with you.
We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. When we come back, the Derby is coming up on Saturday. We got Randy O'Neill, local expert on the horses and all the things that come up with the Derby. Maybe even a little betting advice.
You didn't wear a hat today or anything.
Mess up my hair.
Get fascinator.
We'll talk to Randy O'Neill about the Derby when we come back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Are you looking for a brand new SUV that won't break the bank? Look no farther than Jack Burford Chevrolet, home of the newly redesigned 2024 Trax. Bigger, bolder, more refined, and starting under $25,000, the new Chevy Trax is really upped its game. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see everything this new Trax has to offer.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
Are you looking for a brand new SUV that won't break the bank? Look no farther than Jack Burford Chevrolet, home of the newly redesigned 2024 Trax. Bigger, bolder, more refined, and starting under $25,000, the new Chevy Trax is really upped its game. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see everything this new tracks has to offer.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
We are back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, Dawson Rule, and I felt we haven't had you on in the last couple of years with the Derby. It's like we've been in Boston, we've talked about. Well, we got Randy O'Neill here. I called him the local horse racing expert. Randy's been covering a lot of the horse races around the world for us for the last few years, and with the Derby around the corner, Randy, it's an exciting time for Kentucky folks. I feel like it's kind of snuck up on me though. You yourself, being kind of involved with horse racing a lot, what's it been like for you as you kind of get ready for another Kentucky Derby?
I'm still an expert on telling people how to lose money.
Well, I think me and Dawson can help people out with that as well when it comes to sports betting.
If you want to know how to lose money on the Derby, listen to everything I tell you.
Okay, here we go. Well, we've got him right here to kind of help us out with that. But with the Derby, I feel like with this year, it's last year was crazy. I mean, was it last year when the horse with the least amount of odds to win won? Was that last year, right?
I think that was last year. It's been a long year.
It has been. It has been a long year.
It was 2020.
Yes, it was.
So, I mean, when you look back at last year's horse race.
And I changed my bet on that one, by the way.
Yeah.
Last minute.
You did?
I remember us talking about that.
See, they say never do that.
Yeah. Well, I think
that was actually 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yes, 2022. It was Rich Strike.
That's Rich Strike. Yeah, I changed my bet on that one. I'll never forget that one.
So you had Rich Strike winning until the very last second,
Correct.
and you changed it? Wow. Okay.
Because it was one of the horses that moved in.
That
it was
that
number
was 2
21.
years ago.
Yeah, okay.
It was a 21 horse that moved into the 20th spot.
Okay.
So
I'm the nerd that Googled stuff today.
Well,
I remember losing horses better than I do winning horses, if that tells you anything.
Well,
so
those
you
are
probably
just,
shouldn't follow much of my advice.
It was Rich Strike.
Well, when you look at this year's Derby, what are some of the storylines that you're hearing about as we are, we're 5 or 6 days away from the start of the race now?
Well, this hasn't been one of these years where you've had the whole deal about the Baffert, keeping Baffert out, and there's a lawsuit over that, which they've stuck with.
Yeah,
and
so he's still out.
He's still out.
Okay.
And so this, I think, really, it's kind of a wide open field, which it always, dirt, we have 20 horses in there.
Yeah.
From the first race I watched of Sierra Leone, I like that horse. And that's the horse I like. I don't like that he drew an inside post, because that horse tends to come off the lead. But Chad Brown has 2 horses in the race, and somebody's going to send it. It always happens when you have 20 horses. Somebody's just going to send it and be the rabbit. And so everybody's going to try to chase it. Problem is, when you have 20 horses trying to get over and come from behind, but that's my pick overall. I like that horse. From the first race I watched that horse run, I thought that might be your Kentucky Derby winner. And so Chad Brown, he's He's due one. I think it might be his third Kentucky Derby win.
Okay.
And Chad Brown is the trainer.
Chad Brown's the trainer. But it's funny now looking back. I'm seeing all these horses that I followed, their sires as they were running the Derby.
Yeah.
And it's
like full circle.
It's full circle. It really is. And it's just, and Gunrunner, who won the Derby, won the Pegasus, was just an elite horse. Now you have that come full circle, and then Justify is a sire of one of the horses in there.
Oh wow!
And so it's just it just comes complete full circle. But I think Chad Brown's one of the best trainers there is. He is a legitimate trainer. I know a lot of these trainers. There's a lot of baggage they carry.
Yeah.
And you don't hear much about Chad Brown. He's always up on the up and up, and and always has competitive horses, whether it's Breeders' Cup or Derby or whatever it may be. He's always in the contention.
I was going to say, you're not going with the horse that everybody's talking about. You like the other horse.
Correct.
Which is the horse that everybody's talking about? Well,
Fierceness or
Fierceness, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it didn't draw a good post Saturday, though, right? Fierceness did.
Well, it's 17 posts.
Okay.
So, but
which isn't bad.
There's just that's Todd Pletcher, Giant V. It just it's just not attractive to me, which means it might win.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you're picking a horse to win the Derby, not sometimes it could be just dumb luck, but if you're like focused in and locked in and looking at things, as a person who pays attention to the history or to the trainers and the jockeys and everything, what do you look for in those particular characteristics to bet on a horse? Is there one thing that you really want? Is it history? Is it experience? What do you really look for whenever you're betting on a horse as to who's training them and who's going to be on the horse?
I would hate to share that with them. It might
for us common folks
it's
that
like
don't know
the Bush Beans
racing.
recipe.
Okay, the secret recipe. Yeah, I got you.
Secret recipe.
I'd hate for anybody to lose that much on them to share my.
Okay, our $2. Like I'm the $2 girl,
Well, but I do look at connections, owners, trainers, those kind of things. That's really what I do look at.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, don't follow whatever I follow. That's the best advice I can give anybody.
And you're really studying up on their mamas and the sire and the heritage and the lineage line.
And it really, and there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
And I've been saying for several years. So they do these scans of the lungs and heart, and that's part of that's how American Pharoah. That's how the Zayas went of American Pharoah.
Yeah.
Was they did these scans and stuff. I wish there was a program that just had that in it. And same with Justify. They did the same stuff with Justify.
There you go. You need to invent that.
But if there was a program that had those scans in it, I'd follow that all day over any kind of odds, anything else, because it's held true. I mean, they end up, there's certain physical capacities that horses have, just like athletes, of human, that other horses don't have. And if you were given those tools, it'd be too easy.
Yeah. Well, we say that, but
I'd still mess it up, but don't. Yeah.
Well, Dawson, I mean, as far as the Derby goes, it's always fun. You got a question or something you want?
So we were just talking about the most two recent Triple Crown winners, American Pharoah and Justify. You see anything in these horses in the Derby this year that you think one of them might be really the third Triple Crown winner for most of our lives? Because for a long time there wasn't any until American Pharoah and then Justify. We've had a couple,
and it's one of those things. It's going in blind, just like I was saying with the if that was published to the public, it'd be a whole different game.
Yeah.
No, and they do that on most of these racehorses anymore. They're doing that. I mean, they're doing these scans, and they'll tell you lung capacity and the size of their heart and all that stuff because it's proven. And
So you're saying a bigger heart, bigger lung capacity, those odds are better of them winning
Well,
or coming in.
there's so many factors that
three.
come into play,
Right.
and that's
But
that's
it
the
makes sense.
Well, yeah, you got those things with drawing a post. I mean, it's
post.
just-
Like Sierra Leone. Any other post position, I would think that horse would be almost a lot. But you have a 20-horse field, and you're coming from the 2 posts. Even if you send a rabbit out on the front, which Chad Brown has the opportunity to do, you're still going to have to navigate traffic, get over.
Yeah.
Because you're not. If you're on the post, you have to go to the lead, or you got to pull back, get around, figuring it out. And so when you have 20 horses, that's a whole different ball game than having 8, 10, 12, like most races that horse pro is running. And so 20 horses, if you get in traffic, you may be the best horse in the race, but there's all these other variables.
Yeah.
And the same goes with these other factors. Just because you're the best horse in the race does not mean by any means you're going to win.
No.
Yeah.
And you said Chad Brown had 2 horses in the race,
yes.
right? So how can he use that to his advantage? When you say send a rabbit, are you saying that he
Send
could
one out on the lead.
just take off and then you try to catch that horse, right? Is that essentially
wear
what
it
it
down
would
everybody
be?
else, and then you have one that's usually a closer, and that's kind of a rare opportunity. It happens every now and then. Pletcher usually has them. Baffert usually would have them, and I'm actually kind of proud of them for sticking to their guns on Baffert.
Yeah.
Because you've been verified as a cheater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't you can contest it all you want, but even if you're just playing the line on it, you're cheating.
Yeah. Consistently.
And correct. And I don't know if that has anything to do with horses breaking down and all that. They're animals.
No.
And that happens, and that's part of the sport. And it's unfortunate, but it just is. And it has been for the entire history of it. I don't think it has anything to do with Baffert, anything to do with somebody else. But when you're caught cheating, you don't get to play the game anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. It's like dodgeball in grade school. If you're caught cheating, you don't get to play anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the most basic level of you don't get to play the game.
Well, I will tell you this. If you get on Churchill Downs' website, they have a breakdown of the odds for each post. And the post 5 has produced the most winners. It's had 10 winners and the most runner-up, 8.
Okay.
And it's had several ties.
So who's in
too.
post 5 this year?
I don't know. I didn't write it down.
This year is, I was just looking at it earlier. Let's see. Post 5 would be Catalytic.
Okay.
Somebody might steal it off a car.
That's right. And in a 20-field horse field, each post has a 5% chance of winning, is basically what it said today.
Well, Randy, so before we
the
let you
odds.
go, if you are going to do a win-place show, or if you're going to place a bet, what do you think? Now, I know you said that not to follow your advice, but what is maybe one bet that you're going to do when the Derby rolls around this weekend?
I like Sierra Leone because Chad Brown, Tyler Gaffleone is one of my favorite jockeys. I've been watching him since he was an apprentice, I'm pretty sure, at Gulfstream. And then I saw his first Derby or first Breeders' Cup race. Then he finally made it to the Derby a couple years ago, and he's one of the premier jockeys now. And he's won jockey titles at Churchill, Keeneland, Gulfstream, and now he's one of the premier jockeys. And I've followed him for a long time, and I like that Chad Brown connection as well. So that's the main horse that I'm
So
focused
who about
on.
second and third?
I would say probably just a touch because of the Justify connection. I like that, and there's going to be good odds on it. And then I like Encino because of Nyquist, and Nyquist goes back to Tappet, and I was always a big Tappet fan. Still, so Nyquist was by Tappet, and so these Nyquist horses I tend to follow because they're by Tappet,
lineage.
by Nyquist, the lineage. And they're really the if you follow the lineage, it goes a long ways. Yeah. And I wish there was just a program that told me this is the lineage, this is the heart size we scan, this is the lung capacity. It didn't make it so much easier. I mean, they do it at sales.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially do that at sales. They pay a lot of money for it, but I just want
to get it's there, right?
I just want them to tell me about it.
Somebody needs to come up with that program.
Well, there you go. We'll pick our winners before we go off the air here in a few minutes. But, Randy, we appreciate you coming over, my man. And I know it's going to be a busy week for you as you kind of get ready to kind of – Are you going to the Derby this year?
That's what I'm thinking.
You're going to the Oaks, right? Are you going down there at all?
No, I'm going to Keeneland. I've retired from going to the Derby.
See, it's prom weekend here at Madison Central.
So you got to stick around for.
I got to be here. Okay. Can't go to the Derby.
I may try it again sometime. Maybe we can do a show up there.
Yeah. Okay. That'll work.
I absolutely love watching it on TV all day long.
Oh yeah, the coverage is always fun to watch.
All the coverage and all the backstories on the trainers and the owners and. The long shots.
Well, Randy, always a pleasure catching up with you. We'll have to get you back over whenever we get past this, and I guess the next one would be the Preakness. Is that second? And then the later on down the line, we'll see if we can get if there's a chance for maybe another Triple Crown winner this year. Yeah, so
there's always a chance.
That's true. But we got to start it out with the Derby, right? We got to start it out with that one. That's Randy O'Neill. I'll call him the local horse expert because he's the guy that I always go to. So thank you for coming over, my man, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
I apologize for all the money I cost everybody.
All right, we'll step aside for our final commercial break. We'll come back and talk some local baseball and softball. Look ahead to this week, another busy week in sports on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Are you looking for a brand new SUV that won't break the bank? Look no further than Jack Burford Chevrolet, home of the newly redesigned 2024 Trax. Bigger, bolder, more refined, and starting under $25,000, the new Chevy Trax is really upped its game. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see everything this new Trax has to offer.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
We're back here to wrap things up on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Special thanks to Walt Wells, EKU football coach, Randy O'Neill. I'll call him the local equestrian. Is that what?
Maybe, yeah.
Is that the right word? Yeah, we'll call him the local equestrian.
I'd say there's a special title
we'll call
for
him
horse expert.
But we got Dawson Rule, Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins here with you. And Dawson, last week, busy week for some of our local sports teams. And, we had Cassidy Hack won our player of the performance of the game after a big performance from Cassidy over Madison Southern. That was a really good game. Compared to that first game the two teams played, Southern kept it close, and crazy things happening in extra innings with Central pulling out the victory.
I mean, it looked like for a while Southern was going to take it, then some defensive plays happened, then a bunch of runs scored. It's like, man, they always play. It seems like one game's a blowout, then the next game may be close. So maybe the district championship, if they get a rematch this year, it'll be another great clash. I mean, I'm excited. I'm not sure what the host side is this year. Do we know yet? be.
Oh, see, was that Berea last year, right?
It was at Central.
At Central last year. So it's
maybe
probably
Eastern or something. I
yeah,
don't know.
either Southern. I mean, again, they change it out every year. Well, they know. We just don't know for sure ourselves yet. But Samantha, it's always good to get out and see some of these teams. Now, I've been kind of busy myself. Haven't been able to watch a ton of baseball and softball locally, but we've seen Central's baseball team. Now, they did suffer a loss to Frederick Douglass, but they've kind of come up since after coming back from that Myrtle Beach trip, or their Florida trip, excuse me. They've been playing some good baseball, and just seeing kind of all the teams come into their own as we make our way, which baseball season's already halfway over.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's flown by.
Yeah, I mean, Central's 15-7, so they're having a really good year, and they've got some good pitchers.
Yes, and that's the key.
Model's been breaking records.
Yes,
in
20-win season
they're 20
for Coach.
and 4.
Yeah, I mean
They're going to have a lot more than that too by the time districts are coming.
Yeah,
around.
Coach Sutton's done a really good job with that program too. When you
it was
talk
exciting
to
to
him,
meet him last year. His first year, and to see all
we
the
had
changes
him on the
they've
show,
made.
I think 3 weeks ago, and you could just tell his energy.
Yeah.
Having that young coach to kind of it hasn't been that long since he played, and to kind of be able to kind of interact with the players, I think that's a very big deal to have at Model. When your roster of players, it's hard to kind of get a lot of guys to come out and play. What Coach Sutton has done is he's really built a good, solid program there in just a couple of years.
And I mean, they've still got maybe 10, 15 games left.
Yeah.
They could shatter this school record and then get to districts, and who knows who they get matched up with and get a couple wins.
Yeah, because I think the record was 19, which is what they had last year, and now they're
got
already
it at the end of the
20-4.
year.
Yeah. So.
And I think it's been 2017 under Coach Shapiro, who's actually really good friends with Coach Sutton, was the last time they won the district. And it's been a long time since that has come around. We'll see if you never know if they get the right pitching matchup, they get these guys with some confidence. That could be a possibility this year. It's been a lot of fun tonight on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show after games the last 2 weeks. Been fun to be back out here talking to you all about some of the local sports going on in the area. Some big news obviously in the last couple of weeks. We're following the Kentucky situation with Mark Pope now there. He's building his roster. Matt Roan stepping down and moving to James Madison as the director of athletics there. Some big EKU sports news.
Yeah, and even though he's given his resignation, I mean, he was still at the Suits for Seniors Friday night.
May 15th, I believe, is the end of his contract with Eastern. We've seen A.W. Hamilton building a roster with the EKU.
Yeah.
They announced, I think, 5 or 6 guys over the weekend. So an exciting time to be a local sports fan and seeing kind of everything come together.
Yeah, because A.W. is kind of starting over.
Yeah. Well, I think in this age of college sports, in football, it's hard to see 70 guys leave and go somewhere else. But in basketball, I mean, we're pretty much just a continuation of a revolving door of players in and out. And it's been that way literally everywhere in college basketball. So,
well, it hadn't been a few weeks either, but Coach Prothro at EKU.
Feeling bad.
Baseball,
he had the health
bad.
concerns.
Yeah, so it's been a lot in the last month.
We're going to wrap things up. Thanks for hanging out with us here, folks. Another exciting episode of the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.